Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Against the Odds. So last week we had an all Amonkhet Against the Odds poll, and while it was a pretty close battle, in the end it was Approach of the Second Sun coming out on top. So this week we are heading to Amonkhet Standard to play a deck I'm calling Solar Energy, or Energy of the Suns. Yeah, you get where I'm going with that. A quick reminder before we get to Solar Energy: if you enjoy Against the Odds and the other series here on the channel, it would be amazing of you if you could click that subscribe button down in the corner of your screen. It's a great way to support the channel and the site for free. Oh, by the way, if you are interested in voting for next week's Against the Odds, follow the link in the description to the article. We have another all Amonkhet Against the Odds poll, so help pick what Amonkhet card we play next week. Anyway, let's talk Solar Energy in Amonkhet Standard, and of course, the card of the week, Approach of the Second Suns, the namesake card, super spicy. Basically, all about the 7 mana, gains us 7 life, goes back in our library 7 cards from the top, but if it's the second one we're casting, and it's from our hand, we just win the game. Ignore all that other text. Instead of gaining life and going in our deck, we just win the game. So our goal in this deck, obviously, is to cast 2 Approach of the Second Suns. So it's worth noting, the first one can come from anywhere. It doesn't have to be from our hand. The second one, though, has to be cast from our hand to win the game. So when it comes to building around Approach of the Second Suns, I think there's 2 primary options in Standard. One option is to just be a hardcore control deck with Approach of the Second Suns as a finisher. So like blue-white control, ton of counter spells, ton of removal, ton of wrath. Try to just stall out the game long enough that you can win with Approach of the Second Sun. And that's probably a pretty legitimate plan for building around Approach of the Second Sun. The problem is, it doesn't seem like a whole lot of fun. There's some other fringe options, like a Turbo Fog deck, also probably not the most entertaining type deck to watch, but the direction that we went, the second option, is to use Aetherworks Marvel and kind of be an energy Aetherworks Marvel deck with Approach of the Second Suns as a finisher, and that's where the Solar Energy comes from. Energy of the Sun, Aetherworks Marvel, Energy, you get what I'm saying. So the interesting thing about Aetherworks Marvel is it can't help us directly win the game with Approach of the Second Suns. It can help us cast the first copy, and then it goes into our deck 7 cards down, but if we cast the second copy off Aetherworks Marvel, since it's not going from our hand, instead we just gain 7 life, go 7 cards down again. So we can't actually win the game by casting an Approach with Aetherworks Marvel, we just help set it up. The neat thing, though, is there's a lot of weird synergy here between Approach and Aetherworks Marvel. So let's say we cast an Approach of the Second Suns, it goes 7 cards deep, then we activate an Aetherworks Marvel. That's going to basically get us past 6 cards, which means the very next card that we're going to draw is going to be Approach of the Second Suns again. So kind of the plan of the deck, or one of the plans, and there's different ways to set this up, but one of the plans of the deck is to cast an Approach of the Second Suns from our hand, activate Aetherworks Marvel, hitting apart the Water Veil to take an extra turn. That also gets us those 6 cards deep in our library, so Approach is going to be on the top of our deck. We go to take our extra turn. When we take our extra turn, we draw the Approach, cast the Approach again, and win the game. So that's kind of the primary combo of our deck. Part the Water Veil can also just buy us time. It also gives us like a backup finisher if our opponent manages to get rid of all of our Approach of the Second Suns. And that is a concern with Lost Legacy being a semi-popular sideboard card in Standard. Opponents will try to just get rid of all of our Approach of the Second Suns, so we do want to have some sort of backup plan for winning in case that happens. So that's kind of the main combo of the deck. The rest of the deck is built around producing energy and hopefully cards that do other things along the way. So Attune with Ether, Servant in the Conduit, produce energy, also make sure we have our mana, that we're hitting our land drops, ramping into our Approach of the Second Suns, our Aetherworks Marvel. Then Rogue Refiner and Glimmer of Genius give us the ability to kind of dig for our Approach of the Second Suns naturally. If we don't have a Aetherworks Marvel, we can still win with Approach to the Second Suns. We cast it, it goes 7 cards deep. Glimmer of Genius with the scrying to the bottom, assuming we just go ultimate scry, maximum scry, gets us 4 cards down, Rogue Refiner 1 card, but they both generate energy as well, so they work with the Marvel plan. Also just help us naturally win with Approach of the Second Sun. And then Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot is mostly to stay alive. It helps us produce a ton of energy by itself. If we play it and crack it, gives us enough energy for an Aetherworks Marvel activation. Gains us up to 6 life, which is a lot of stalling out. Usually an entire turn this can buy us against kind of aggressive mid-rangey type decks. And sometimes the extra turn is all we need to get to Approach. And one of the neat things about Approach is the gaining 7 life is really relevant. It definitely seems like if you're getting attacked by a bunch of creatures, if we can get to the first Approach of the Second Suns, gain that 7 life, hopefully that kind of fogs our opponent's next turn of attacks. And then if we can just cast another one, we obviously win the game. Then we have, in the last main deck slots, 3 Gideons. I just really love Gideon. Seems like another good fog type card. We're not really built to keep it alive forever or like maximum abuse of the emblem, but if we play it, we can emblem it. Hopefully that buys us an extra turn. Also kind of a removal spell. It's one of our ways of preventing the damage of a Heart of Kirin. Can stop any big threat with the +1. And it's another backup win condition. So if everything goes wrong, we can always Rogue Refiner and Gideon and try to beat down that way to win. And then cast out just a low opportunity cost removal spell that hits anything. It is kind of expensive at 4 mana, which can make it hard to cast. But we can always cycle it away for just 1 mana, which means even when we can't cast it, it's still fine. Mana base, Ether Hubs for more energy, a bunch of various duels in all the Bant colors, and then some basic lands. As far as the sideboard, Negate and Dispel to help force through our Approach of the Second Suns, our Aetherwork Marvel to find Approach of the Second Suns, a bunch more removal for aggro decks, Fumigate, good hit off Marvel, we can kind of dig for it, wipe away our opponent's board, Stasis Snare for more removal, and Blessed Alliance gains us a bit of life too. And then for more controlling slower decks, we got Tireless Tracker for some repeatable card advantage, and Gideon of the Trials, the 4th copy. And that is Solar Energy for Amonkhet Standard, and that's our Against the Odds deck for this week. So how is this going to go? I'm not exactly sure. I think it seems pretty sweet, and I think that we can get some wins with it. The synergy between Approach and Aetherworks Marvel isn't all that obvious, but I think it's actually going to work alright. It just seems so weird to be using Aetherworks Marvel as a exile 6 cards from your deck, or put 6 cards to the bottom, rather than to actually cast Approach of the Second Suns, but the numbers line up really well. We have some ways to ramp into our stuff. Hopefully we can stall out a bit with Rogue Refiners and Woodweaver's Puzzle Knots, and I mean, we got Part the Water Veil, and you can't go wrong playing Part the Water Veil, so I think it's going to be fun either way and interesting, and hopefully we get some solar energy kills sooner or later. So anyway, that's our Against the Odds deck for this week. One more reminder, if you want to vote for next week's deck, follow the link in the description to the article on this site. There's a poll down at the bottom, so vote in that. Also, we're doing a worldwide giveaway for a booster box of Amonkhet, so make sure to sign up for that for well. Follow the link in the description for that. Anyway, that's our Against Odds deck for this week. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you haven't already, take a minute and click that subscribe button. It's a great way to support the channel for free, and you'll find the next video in the playlist right here.